Welcome to the Vault this week. It's Nick and Julie. This week we have a bunch of people for you. We have the superintendent of the Iroquois School District, Shane Murray. We talk about the beginning of the school year. I thought it was a good idea to have him on the show, just because it's the beginning of the school year and kicking things off the right way and stuff. So he shared a lot of good insight and a lot of good things, and we learned a lot about the comings and goings of being in charge of a multi-million-dollar corporation, basically,
yeah,
that's supported by the government.
While you're also trying to feed and educate
children,
and
give them. I know.
All of it.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's for sure. So now we know why Julie is a retired school board member.
Yeah. I think 13 years was good enough.
Right, that was good enough. We also have another call-in from Cousin John. Cousin John from Columbus calls us again, and we chat with him about all sorts of things, including crisscross applesauce and why ADHD people, the evolutionary thing, evolutionists left behind ADHD people.
ADHD was very important back in the day, when you had to have a scout that had his head on swivel the whole time. I mean,
head on a swivel.
Literally.
The older I get, the less my neck moves.
I don't know why. You're just a millennial.
I'm an elder millennial. Anyway, so
being a Gen X.
Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. We appreciate you, and join us in the Vault next.
See ya. Wow.
Vault Vibes Unlocked and Unscripted. This week's episode brought to you by Ascend Wellness and Hypnotherapy with Julie Abel and Nick Cashone with Select Mortgage. Hey Vibers, welcome into the Vault. It's Nick and
Julie.
And I just want to ask my friend here, how's it going?
Hey, great, Nick. I'm just living the dream, buddy.
Oh.
So this is the guy. Is this the guy, Julie?
Is the guy that we were talking about?
Is this the guy that you says living the dream?
There may be. We don't know. Okay, so Shane, could you clarify what kind of dreams that you live on a regular basis? Like,
are they good dreams, bad dreams,
weird dreams?
Is it up in the air? Is it just a little bit of everything?
It all depends on the day. Some days my life is amazing, and other days it's a nightmare.
So my question with dreams is like,
so you're basically masking how you're really doing by saying living the dream, because it could be anywhere. It could be nightmare. It could be great.
Why be so mysterious?
Yeah,
because most people don't care. When people ask you how you're doing and you say you're having a bad day, 80% of the people are glad you have a problem.
Oh my God!
20% of the people don't care.
Podcasts are a form of long journalism, and we like long answers here, Shane.
Okay, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. He's got a point, though. Like, if he's going to explain...
People don't actually want to hear how you are. I know. It's true.
No, but that's a pessimistic, half-glass empty kind of answer.
It's kind of sad. It's very sad.
It doesn't sound like happy living the dream at all.
So this is Shane Murray. He is the superintendent of Iroquois School District. And I think he's giving us the living the dream, answer, because he doesn't want to tell us how he really is, because it is the beginning of the school year, and he's probably very, very stressed at the moment. And
I don't know. You should ask him.
I should ask him.
He's right here.
He'll just say, "Living the dream."
He's right here.
So we're having you on today. Obviously, you served. Julie was on the school board, and she served with you for a while there. You guys have become, coworkers, friends over the years, and I always hear about Shane Murray here, and I've met you a few times, and I, you seem like a cool dude, so we brought you on. We want to talk to you about all of that, and it's the beginning of the year. We wanted to kind of kick off into the school year, and wanted to kind of go from there. So I'm assuming school started. We're recording this on the 27th, and that started today.
Yep, today was our first day. It's been crazy the last week and a half with teacher training and just doing everything has got to be done before the beginning of the school year. People don't understand how schools operate. They think that we just teach, and that's kind of about the farthest thing from the truth. We run a restaurant that serves about 400,000 meals a year. We run a transportation system that, we have 14 different routes to go to 20 some different places.
Right.
You run special ed, we run mental health systems, we run health systems, athletics. That's a whole another thing on a different level. And then we try to teach people every once in a while. We got to do
Right.
transition to wherever kids are going next. They just keep adding more and more responsibility to us each year. And it gets harder and harder.
I think that's one of the things. I think you're right. And that's, obviously why we're bringing you on here, because that is, there are a lot of things that go into the school year. And, it's not like you just turn lights on August 27th and it's just, teachers start teaching and whatever. So would you say being the superintendent, obviously, is that kind of your job to oversee all of that then, right?
Yeah, I have the responsibility to make sure all that stuff operates. I am blessed at Iroquois. We have a great team, great support staff, a great school board. We've had a history of having a good, strong board. Our community support for our school is top notch.
Mm-hmm.
The one organization that hasn't supported our school at the level it should be is the state.
Sure.
The state has identified us since 2004 as being one of the most underfunded school districts.
Oh, wow.
Finally, this past year with Governor Shapiro, he put out a proposal after the state was sued by the Pennsylvania Association of Small and Rural Schools that they had to do something to change the funding formula.
Sure.
And for the first time, they really did help us out. And our local representatives, Pat Harkins, Bob Mursky, and our state senator, Laughlin, all three of them came through and really supported that. So Iroquois made out pretty well for the first time.
That's awesome.
in my tenure there.
And it's not just been in his tenure. Because I was one of the board members that hired Shane. We have been dealing with this kind of thing. We have been raising taxes and we've been putting the burden on our taxpayers.
Sure.
And I have even gone down with him and my son when he was on the board to advocate for public school funding.
Sure.
And Iroquois is a conundrum. We're considered a small school, but we're not.
That's what I was going to ask.
Right. We're not urban or rural or suburban.
Right.
So we don't have any of the markers that would
give
us
unique,
extra
right?
funding.
So it's unique to be a suburban school district that's a smaller school district.
And the teachers, the staff, the admin are all expected to do more than just educate. I'm no longer in the picture, but
you're always part of it.
Well, yeah, they're in my heart, 4 generations deep in Iroquois. But people are expected in education now to do more than educate. They're expected to be advocates of mental health, of overall wellness. It's just what they're expected to do is unreal, and they're not getting supported financially.
You bring up an interesting point. You talk about the like the state representatives and the state senator and all the other people that have to help. It really is a whole balancing act with everything. It's not only so you have elected officials that are on the school board like Julie was, and we had Jeremy Koblenz on a few weeks ago. And so really, and sometimes those people change, and there are elections sometimes, or they retire and things like that. So you find that you have to kind of almost start over with people, and that stuff changes, or administrations change, governors change, everything. You kind of have to fine tune what you do.
Yeah, and Iroquois is very reliant on state aid for its survival. About 67% of our budget comes from the state.
Okay.
So every time there's a change in the governor position, and a change in philosophy on how schools are funded, it really does affect us more than it affects most school districts in the region.
Wow.
People look at Erie and say, for years, Erie has been crying poor and that they're underfunded. On the list of state support, they're like 30.
Right.
We're all the way down to 17.
Yeah.
And so we're much more reliant on state aid than they are.
Yeah.
And they have the ability to raise taxes and have growth.
Sure.
In Iroquois, all of our land is basically covered. Except for a golf course and a couple parks,
right,
and there's no growth. So
there's no, there are no.
It's
more
considered
houses,
a class A. There's not much left to sell.
And the community, the population probably doesn't change much at all. It probably stays about the same every year.
Yeah. So tell us about the funniest in quotes time that you had a board meeting.
Yeah, have you had anything that you're willing to share of not without using names?
I would just tell you that the average superintendent in the state of Pennsylvania lasts about 3.5 years.
Okay.
And I've been blessed the last 16 years, and it's basically because I've had good, strong boards.
Sure.
We try not to overreact to individual parents that may be rallying the troops.
Right.
Most times we don't get anybody come to the school board meetings unless there's a coach that's being fired.
Sure.
And educationally, what we try to do is make every student learn and grow.
Yeah.
And if you make decisions what's best on what students' needs, I think, a school district thrives and does well. When you get into political issues and, worried about whether you're raising taxes or not,
right.
Students eventually end up getting hurt. You never make anything better by cutting from my experience.
Right.
So if there's something that kids truly need to be successful, I've been blessed to have boards that supported that.
Sure. So. Absolutely. Now you said that, so you said 16 years. Is that 16 years at Iroquois?
Only 12 at Iroquois, and I was at the Jamestown Area School District in Mercer, PA for another 5.
So do you find, being in it as long as you have been, and being at the state level, things like that, do you find that other superintendents, other people try to come to you for, advice or things like that?
Yeah, having been around long enough, I do advise a number of the local superintendents or even statewide on the state board for superintendents.
Do they take your advice?
Yeah, do they listen?
Sometimes, there's always those that are assholes.
Yeah, right.
Wait. Define asshole.
Somebody that will ask you for advice and not listen to you.
Assholes.
Did you ever hear that term?
New term.
Okay, so repeat that. Repeat that. What's an asshole?
Somebody that continuously asks you for advice but doesn't follow it.
Awesome.
So
we'll put up a definition on that.
I love that. That's amazing.
That's true. You're right. People, it's almost, like, oh, I'm going to ask you because it looks like they're trying to, improve or do something, but then
I've made up my mind. I'm going to run it by you. And if you disagree, I'm still going that way. Right. That's fine.
Well, the problem is, and you've probably obviously noticed this and probably even in the last 16 years is politics has just gotten involved in everything. Right. And, something like the school district, obviously you guys are educating kids from all sorts of houses and households and political ideologies and everything like that. But you have to, like before I said, it's all about balance, right? And you have to remain somewhat apolitical, even though you're relying on these politicians to help keep you alive as a school district and stuff like that. And then you run into the political views of the parents and then they bring that to their children.
School boards are political. So they're political in the sense that you have to get the votes, but it matters not if you're Republican or Democrat.
And, one of the big problems is public education was originally designed to educate. Mm-hmm. Now it is being asked to fix every societal ill.
Don't let people fall through the cracks, everything else, right?
How do you treat every child equal when kids aren't equal? Mm-hmm. How do you, sports are in some people's minds much more important than what happens in the classroom.
Right.
And that's not true. If you're looking at countries that we're competing with, China doesn't care about high school sports.
I can't imagine people going out on a Friday night to a Chinese high school football game. It's just that they don't care about that stuff. You're right. Now they care about their Olympic athletes and stuff like that. But you're right. It's not. Yeah, you're a sports organization.
Speaking of athletics, I'd like to talk about PIAA.
My favorite topic.
We have a few prompts to bring up.
I do want to say that if there's something that you're not feeling comfortable about answering, then please don't. But what happened last year at Iroquois with the jerseys? Because the only reason I know, because I wasn't on the board at that point, but my brother was a coach and is still a coach. There was a debacle. Can you explain what?
Well, it's the dumbest thing I've ever been involved with as far as a school administrator.
That's what I thought.
First of all, I run a $27 million organization, and we run everything from transportation to meals to sports to all the gamut of things.
Yes, you do.
And we have a football game on a Thursday night because PIAA cannot get enough officials to do the Friday night lights, which has been done for years.
Oh.
And so we have to play on a Thursday night, and our coach comes to our athletic director and says, hey, we need something to get attendance here. We want our home crowd. Now, we have won one game in 3 years at that point, and we were playing a team that was 0-4.
Okay.
And he says, let's have a whiteout because, you see that on weekends. Penn State has whiteouts.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of special things happen.
It's a great thing.
My athletic director reaches out to the officials and say, we would like to wear our white jerseys at home. The officials say, fine.
Yeah.
The other team, Greenville at the time, says, hey, we'll wear our dark uniforms.
Yeah.
No big deal. So we have this game, and Iroquois ended up losing pretty handily. We had like 400 people in the crowd. It was a dismal night. It was horrible. But it also happened to be broadcast on the NFHS channel.
Oh, okay.
And the next morning at about 8:30, I get a call from the District 10 leadership, Mr. Pete Iacino. And he says, you need to fill out a self-report. You guys wore the wrong uniforms last night. And I said, no, I'm not filling out a self-report. It's the game official's responsibility to enforce uniform rules. They signed off. The other team signed off.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
And also the officials were supposed to be there on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention that you had already moved the game to accommodate for their lack of people. Yeah.
And he says, you don't understand. You need to fill this out. And I said, no, you don't understand. We didn't violate anything. I'm not filling it out.
Wow.
I said, the game officials are the one that's supposed to enforce it. They signed off on it. Here's the emails.
Yeah.
And
from what I understand, several other Erie County teams did the same.
Erie, Mercer, Crawford teams have all done that.
They've done that.
We played in 2 or 3 of these games at away sites, and no issue.
And had to switch or whatever because of the home team. Yeah.
But Mr. Iacino and I go way back. I've challenged him on a few things that he's said and done, and he wanted to make an example out of me, and he wanted to punish our teams for me not filling out a report. And I said, I'm not going to do it. And it's
this
funny.
Goes back to years, though. I remember he gave you a problem years ago about some stuff too.
But the PIAA and District 10 are supposed to be a principal and athletic director organization. Mr. Iacino is neither a principal or an athletic director. Neither is his executive or assistant or his treasurer. None of them are principals.
But that's a requisite to be on the PIAA.
Normally something that they have to.
So when superintendents write to them, they don't feel they have to respond.
Oh my!
Sure.
When I called, he didn't respond.
Wow.
But yet they're not. Okay, let me get this straight. They're supposed to be either a principal or an athletic director at their home school, and he's neither.
Correct.
How is he on this PIAA thing?
He has some sort of contract for like $1 to be aligned to Kennedy Christian, and again, he's neither a principal.
Christian. Wow,
he's neither a principal or a.
Hold on, it was reconnecting. Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's neither a principal or athletic director, and so he says he doesn't have to answer to superintendents. Well, I don't believe we need to answer to him because he's neither of the above.
Wow.
Or none of the above, I should say.
Well, that's a hypocrisy for sure. So this year you're going to wear white every game.
I would like to, but they'll punish the kids. And what me and the local superintendents have done is
wait. Go back to the punish the kids thing. What is he doing to punish our kids?
Yeah. What was the what was
placing
the
our sports on program because I refused to fill out a form. It was not fair.
No.
But let's take 2 other examples regional that happened in District 10.
Yeah.
There was a coach at Sharpsville this past softball season who was ejected from a game. He did not complete PIAA training before he coached the next game. His team played. They won a playoff game. So his players went out and won a game, and PIAA made them threw them out of the playoffs and
forfeited or whatever
because their coach didn't do something.
Wow.
Now, when in any time in society do we punish kids for adult mistakes?
It's unfortunate because really, when you really peel back all the layers, the athletics is there to enrich their experience at the school. It's not anything other than that. It's you offer that as a benefit to
but
those
PIAA
kids,
is supposed to be for the students, for the athletes.
Right.
And when they're doing this type of thing and punishing kids for what coaches are falling short
coaches, for. They're, it's hard to even find coaches, I'm sure, in a lot of these cases. And, they're getting paid pennies to, they're having practices every day and showing up every, going out of town with their students. And
then PIAA Cochrane, which is in the Crawford Central School District, they had a new athletic director, and he filled out a paper and he miscalculated their student enrollment.
Oh,
he also happened to be in the National Reserve or National Guard.
Yeah.
So he got sent on a 2-week deployment.
Mm.
During that time period, they realized that he had a mistake. So when he got back, they tried to fix it, but it was outside the two-week window. So they take the kids and make them play up a division for the next 2 years.
Oh, geez.
All because
2 years?
For 2 years. So they're punishing the kids in the next two classes to make them play at a higher level just because of a paperwork mistake. Again, here's an adult who's serving our country, makes a mistake.
Right.
But kids, we're going to punish you to make an example of the Cochrane.
What was the reason they made the Iroquois travel like an hour and a half away from any other teams? What was that debacle? That was years ago.
Well, I challenged Mr. Iacino when PIAA came out with mandatory training for heat stroke and concussions.
Oh, sure.
And that was part of a state law. And then PIAA said, you have to use our product that we endorse. Well, we already had that in place. We'd been doing that prior to the state mandate.
Yeah.
And they said, no, you got to buy our product. And I said, that's not right. First of all, I'm the employer. Right. We're a member of your organization.
Right.
I determine what my employees do. You don't have the ability to tell me what specific
Plus
training.
You were doing it prior to them taking that on.
That's correct. So we did it already before. So now you're going to make me spend more money of my taxpayer money on something I don't need.
These large organizations. Julie, it's kind of like the NAR stuff with real estate.
I'm just saying.
Erie County was always doing the right thing. Someone messed up in some other state. And it's just large organizations. They're just badly run.
I want to say, because I'm getting fired up all over again, because I do this, I get fired up. But look, okay, we're not talking about a union. We're talking about students who are trying to be athletes, who are part of and engaged in their schools. And so when you start taking that and messing around with it and trying to do power plays against schools because you don't think that it's being done the way your mandates are, even though it makes no common sense to do such, it honestly, shame on them for taking it out on these kids.
These students, I mean, some of them athletics are, their only outlet or keeps them healthy or hey, it's their ticket to college.
It keeps them engaged.
And, so you move up to class and maybe you're not performing as well and you were going to be able to go to college before. And now you, you shit the bed and you don't look like you're going to be, so it's a,
and how does one guy have that
spiral?
One guy who actually is actually not part of he's part of PIAA, and the requisites are you're a principal or an athletic director, and he's neither. Tell us about your first day experiences. Let's turn this into a happier note. Tell us what your school did. Some amazing things. Your elementary kids did some amazing things this today. Actually,
well, Iroquois is blessed to be in a community school with United Way.
Sure.
So we had a red carpet arrival today. We had one of those blow up. I don't even know what they're called.
Those things that go like this in
the wavy guy.
Yeah, the wavy guy.
The wavy guy.
Widget credit union was there. We had some of the local churches. They gave out school supplies. Had a DJ. It was an amazing welcome to school for our kids.
That's awesome.
Trying to build excitement. The energy level around Iroquois this year has been amazing. We've been very blessed with hiring a lot of good teachers, which is very hard to do today, and with the shortage of teachers that that there is, and we're really, we've been blessed. It was, we went through the day, and I always laugh at the end of the first day. Hey, we didn't deliver anybody to the wrong home. We didn't lose anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody got on the right bus.
Yeah.
And imagine, almost 600 little ones.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't know. They're either young enough they don't understand, or they're immigrant students and don't understand our language.
Yeah.
And to get everybody where they got to go without being lost on the first day with parents putting in
those younger kids,
conflicting things in.
They're the first one to go to school.
Can
in
I
their
ask?
Family
Okay, so we're talking about kids who don't understand the language. Okay, how many immigrant students don't know English that are going?
Yeah, have you seen an influx?
I know it's worse in Erie, but
Iroquois has really been experiencing a large increase in our English language learners. We're up over 50. We have 12 different languages.
Okay.
And It is amazing. It's it's great to see the diversity that we're experiencing,
Sure.
but it also adds a whole different level
Have
of
changed some of the curriculum and the way you handle them and things like that.
Have ESL teachers, and
yeah.
when you have IEP meetings or other parent meetings, having to have interpreters, and it's really a different world than when I started 12 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And those people,
what a credit to you to get all those people in place. That's not easy.
In our community, I mean, it's just, we tend to be a resettlement town for people. And I work with a lot of people, from different backgrounds in my job too.
You do.
And it is what it is. I mean, it's going to happen one way or another. So you might as well embrace them.
Did you just say it is what it is, Nick?
It is.
Are you living the dream too?
I'm living the dream.
He's not cool enough to live the dream.
Oh.
I don't want to live the dream.
Dang.
I don't want to do push-ups in Jell-O and drive down a road that's made out of pudding. And see my third grade teacher.
Yeah, but to be said that you're not cool enough to live the dream.
I don't care what he said. He's some superintendent from some small school district.
True.
It's just pennies on the dollar.
Oh no, it's getting ugly. I don't like this. I want all good vibes.
I don't let that stuff. It doesn't stick to me. He can live the dream all he wants. So what are some of the things you do outside of the school? Like, obviously a stressful job, a lot of hours, but, do you do some things outside of work that like to keep you happy?
My biggest joy in life is mowing grass at this point.
Yeah.
I don't get a whole lot of quiet time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and also too, Shane's been a good friend in helping me figure out, navigate life coaching / hypnotherapy business.
Yeah.
Because
I hear in previous life, not like previous
yes.
life, but like I hear that maybe in your previous life also, but I hear you've dabbled in some of that as well.
Yeah, I ran a hypnosis clinic or hypnotherapy clinic in Pittsburgh for a couple of years.
Wow.
I did a lot of sports work. I worked with the Steelers.
That's awesome.
Both doing psychological testing and
did you hypnotize the Steelers to win? Because they were doing great back then.
When you were there.
Yeah.
We were more into
some Steelers fans say go back down there.
Yeah.
I did my internship with their team psychologist at the time.
Wow.
So we did interviews with prospective draft choices and free agents they were looking at signing. It was really cool. It didn't pay very well. But,
anything in sports, it's fun, but it's not.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where you got started with like psychology, like that kind of stuff? Is that where you?
Well, I was working on my master's in psychology. I actually was working for Penn State at the time, and I was running their career center and doing residence life and doing some counseling. And I went in and I met the Steelers team psychologist, asked him if I could do my internship with him.
Yeah.
He said yes. I also, I was working, 60, 70 hours a week, being on call 24 hours a day, dealing with freshmen and sophomores in college, doing incredibly stupid things at all hours of the night. Right. Not getting any sleep.
Don't say that, Julie. Just sent her daughter.
I have a freshman. Right. He doesn't care.
I know.
He'll tell me all about the crazy that happens, and meanwhile I'm biting my nails down to the nub, wondering if my daughter is okay. But
she called you yet?
Yeah, she did, but only because I called her first.
Oh, okay.
But I went to this stage show by a guy by the name of Dr. Jim Wand, and I believe he's still out there doing this. And he did a stage show, and he put everybody to sleep. And he said, "I've never slept more than 4 hours a night, in the last 20 years." And I said, wow, I could really use that. So I bought one of his cassette tapes at the time.
Yeah.
And I became conditioned doing self-hypnosis that I could fall asleep within a minute and be in a deep, restful state.
What's the difference between that and narcolepsy?
It's self-inflicted.
Yes.
Right. That's the difference.
Right? And it worked out well for me to help me get a more healthy lifestyle, because that job was killing me, being on call 24 hours a day. And
I was shocked. I really didn't expect that from our superintendent. I was looking into hypnotherapy, and when he had said that, it was like, okay, I have to know everything. You don't know many hypnotherapists. Sure. I know, I know him, and I know a guy in Erie who had done this with his dad for several years. So, that's Bill Vorshek. And honestly, gained a lot of insight and intel on how to run a business. It's one thing to say, okay, we're going to help people
he's done that before. Right?
Help people get into their subconscious and work with their goals. But it's another thing to be a business doing that. It's a whole different mindset. So Shane's been instrumental in helping me figure stuff out. Okay, use your hypnotherapy voice.
Let's hear your calming. You have a pretty calming voice as it is, but let's hear you. Let's hear you.
Help Nick get to his quiet space.
Okay, Nick, I want you to take a deep breath and breathe in relaxation.
You better listen.
Exhale stress and anxiety. And our goal is for you to live the dream, my friend.
Oh, you ruined it. What if I would have been hypnotized and I would have just been living the dream for the rest of my life? It would have been good or bad, one or the other. Well, hey, Shane, we really appreciate you coming in. I think we have a whole other episode. We could talk about your hypnosis days and all that other stuff, and maybe an episode about mowing the lawn. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All righty. Thank you.
Hey, folks, Nick Cashone from Vault Vibes here. We talk about the hypnotherapy and Julie's work, as a hypnotherapist a lot on this show. It does come up every once in a while. And the reason that comes up a lot is because it's important to her. And it also is important to us on the show to share what she does with people and share what she's able to do to help people. So, sometimes I like to tease her about it, but, it comes from a place of respect. I really do respect what she does. I know lots of people that have used her over the years, and all of them, that I've talked to have given, raving reviews for her. So, if you're looking to get some help in your life, maybe getting rid of some sort of vice or help you, with some motivation in other areas of your life, check her out. Ascend Wellness and Hypnotherapy, 1915 East 38th Street with Julie Abel. You can reach her at 814-323-4709. Ascend Wellness and Hypnotherapy. We cannot wait to collaborate with you in unlocking your potential, empowering you to obtain goals, move past obstacles, and become the highest and best version of you. Remember, Ascend Wellness and Hypnotherapy with Julie Abel. Hey, folks. Nick Cashone with Vault Vibes again. Also, you may know me as Nick Cashone with Select Mortgage. We often talk about, Select Mortgage and some of the things that I do with my full-time job outside of the podcast here. So I do work with Select Mortgage. I am a mortgage broker. And a lot of times, things that people, if you're looking to get a home loan or find a good match for you with refinancing, purchasing, if you know anyone that's looking for it, I do like working for a broker because there are a lot of things that we can do that maybe you can't find at a bank or a traditional lender or things like that. We can match or beat pricing. We can find we have multiple lenders. We can find multiple programs, find a good fit for you. So Nick Cashone at Select Mortgage. You can contact me at 814-403-6915. Again, it's Nick Cashone with Select Mortgage. All right. Okay. Well, welcome back. We were talking to Shane Murray there about the fun of running a school district. And, it's a stressful job. It's very complicated. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a balancing act, and everything else. So, it is amazing that he's done it as long as he has.
Yeah.
Really. And I thought it was a good idea to have him on.
High burnout rate.
I know your buddies with him or whatever, but I thought that we should call him in and have him, the beginning of the school year and all that stuff. So I thought that it was good.
Agree.
And it worked well.
Yeah.
It was great.
We had the Iroquois school board president who was who succeeded me, which is awesome. Really but honestly, we needed somebody to talk about the start of the school year.
Hold on. Oh no, it's Johnny Willette. John with no H.
It's Johnny Willette, everybody. Okay, hello there, sir.
Hey, everybody, it's Johnny Willette. John with no H.
Hello.
Hey.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, very good. Hey, I want to ask you something. Do you consider the beginning of the school year like the beginning of a year, or do you consider January the beginning of the year?
January.
Yeah. I mean,
so my kids are out of school, so my perspective has changed. Yeah. So
Yeah.
It's but I think January has always been the beginning of the year for me.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most people consider January the beginning of the year, but a lot of times, just because school years are from fall to spring, people consider that the actual year.
Okay, who does that? Who does that?
Well,
I mean, come on, who's like, hey, the beginning of the year starts right now? No one's doing
Julie was a teacher, and then she was on the school board, so that's that's why.
It's still my beginning of the year. It really is. I mean,
it's like when people go off of like fiscal years. It's
yes.
like, who are you kidding? Come on.
Yeah.
I hear some ice cubes in the back. What's your poison back there tonight?
Yeah, we hear ice cubes.
We hear ice cubes. What's your poison this evening?
So we have a little Tito's and water, lemon lime.
Okay, that's refreshing.
Yeah, with the little sidecar of Jameson.
Oh,
okay.
Sidecar.
So the drink is Tito's and water.
So you're mixing clear and brown.
Well, that keeps the mosquitoes away.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Mosquitoes away.
Yeah.
Clear before brown, you're going to frown.
John can drink whatever he wants, and nobody's going to touch him. Like, literally.
That's how they make him. Who do the Bucks play in week 1 this week?
We got the Akron Zips.
Always a good team to start with.
Oh, he was telling me about how the Browns are going to have indoor arena. So
stadium.
Well,
they're trying to. They're trying to put it by the airport. It's like they bought a swath of land out by the airport.
We were talking
all of a sudden Boston.
So we were talking about how unrealistic it is to be in a dome, especially since it's football. But honestly,
but the way they do it now though is they make it all clear. It's all like windows, so you still get the natural light and everything. So it's kind of. But
the turf and stuff, back in the day,
turf's terrible.
We're talking Jack Lambert day when we had normal grass and outside, and it didn't matter if you were up in no man's land with sub-zero weather. That was the way football was played.
There's the one stadium in Arizona where they grow the field outside and then they roll it in on game day.
I've heard of that.
That's kind of cool because turf's not the answer. I don't know.
Right.
I've seen the renderings of the stadium. I mean, it looks pretty cool.
I feel like there's too much bacteria in turf.
The grass at least has a half-life, the bacteria left because that grass got.
Wait, hold on.
There you go.
Hold on. So where are you getting? So you're on the turf, and then you picked up a bacteria infection.
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
The player falls. They're sweaty. They have a staph infection.
It's like a brush burn situation, and all of that
on the turf, and then. So then the other kid falls.
We're starting to roll into fall where you get a little bit of apple cider, like the hot, warm apple cider.
Yes.
You throw a little bit of rum in there.
Oh.
You throw a little rum in there, and you put a little bit of nutmeg or something on top. Come on.
I'm with you.
Can we say?
Okay.
Show or not?
Whiskey and apple.
You can literally warm that shit up, and it is so good. It's a warm drink.
Oh, so good.
Warm drink.
Right, because fall is great. Right? I love spring. Summer's good. Winter, I like things about winter, but fall.
Yeah.
Football's starting. Football is starting.
Football's starting, and I don't care if it's on turf. I'm gonna warm up that apple cider and rum like there's no tomorrow.
Oh yeah, there's fires outside.
So there's a big debate.
Hey John, we went to the lake. Remember last year we went to the lake. We sat around big bonfire. Big bonfire.
Apple or pumpkin? That's a big debate these days. Apple or pumpkin?
Yeah.
What's the flavor?
For what?
Flavor.
Just flavor. If you're gonna add a flavor to something.
Apple spice or pumpkin spice?
Apple or pumpkin? When you think about fall, what do you think of?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because you have different things. Are you talking about a hot drink or a dessert?
Right.
Because you can't just doing everything, right?
Apple or pumpkin pie? How about that? Apple or pumpkin?
Wow. Well, during the fall, I think during the fall it's definitely pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
The summer is apple.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
I think apple starts around Apple goes into October.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, though, apple pie is associated with like 4th of July.
Have you ever? I know my wife's birthday is tomorrow, which is yesterday when we released the show.
Yeah.
But
happy birthday!
Yeah, happy birthday or happy belated
birthday,
or whatever, right? But a lot of times she'll ask for.
Tell her to get something real nice.
Yeah,
real nice.
What's happening?
I did the little A-OK.
Yeah, he's doing A-OK right now. It's ridiculous.
But a lot of times she'll ask for apple pie for her birthday, and I've noticed that sometimes it's hard to find.
What does that mean? Is that code for something?
Oh,
yeah, that's what the kids call it. That's what the kids call it these days.
What do you when you say give me some apple pie? When you say give me some apple pie,
I don't know what the kids mean.
The pie.
We can't keep track with the kids these days.
It's what the kids say. Yeah.
I was trying to learn Gen Alpha.
John.
So
John, he's a millennial, so he'd be saying something shitty like that. He'd be saying the apple pie thing.
You know, us millennials are in our 40s now. We're not just like little children anymore.
It's sad. It's sad. Like Gen X, then millennial. Right. I actually love the millennials.
Aren't Gen X is like hitting their 60s soon. Like in that, like.
But he's got his shit together, right?
Yeah, he does.
There's different. It just. I appreciate their opinion, but when you got your shit together, every generation has people that don't have their shit together.
That's correct.
And that has it together, right?
That is correct.
So
I think
I'm Gen X. Everybody in my generation has their shit together, but that's very rare.
So you think?
We do. We do.
I think what's been fun is Gen X and millennials sort of coming together and not liking Gen Z.
Yeah,
right? we're like, well, what's this shit? You know?
Yeah, they're crazy.
Gen Z. And then I'm trying to learn the new lingo from my Gen Alpha kids and. Ooh, like we were talking about skibbity and
I hate that.
Ohio means you're a loser. Sorry.
What? No way. I love Ohio.
Someone says
Ohio.
You're so Ohio.
Like I love Ohio. I just like you love Ohio.
Yeah, there are people. Mogging is a word.
I think that if you're gonna like diss on something, like maybe Idaho. I don't know, or why is it gotta be Ohio?
Preppy now kind of means like basic, like loser.
Oh.
Like it used to mean like you're, like, oh, that's so preppy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting. Yeah, I was trying to learn that.
I think that's what it's always meant.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
None of us were. We weren't preppies. Were you?
No, I was not a preppy.
I wasn't preppy.
No.
Nope. I was not a preppy either. No, I was a class clown. What's that? What would that be? That would be like combative. That would be like disassociative.
Nowadays they call that mental illness.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I was right there with her.
That's an undiagnosed ADHD. That's what it is. It's back in the day they didn't tell kids that they had things going on.
Okay, listen, I
disabilities.
You know what, John? This is exactly what Nick did with Shane too. They ganged up on me. It's ridiculous.
You know what? Here's the thing: he's right.
It is true. It is.
Why would they? I have dyslexia. Why would they ever write that word like that?
I know that's the worst way. Right.
What do you have? And I'm like, I can't even.
You're like, I don't know. It has some X's and Y's, which no word.
Alexa.
It's
ridiculous.
It's an onomatopoeia. It's supposed to look like the way it sounds. Like it's supposed to look that way.
Yeah, like what words have X's and Y's in them, even in general? It's like one of the only words that has all those letters in it.
All right, so do you guys want to hear one of my theories?
Yes.
With dyslexia?
Yeah.
You wanna go here?
I do.
All right.
I'll cut it for time if we have to, but yeah.
All right. So here's the thing: I believe a lot in the caveman theory, right?
Oh yeah.
Which is your instincts, and society has asphalted over a lot of your instincts, right?
Oh yeah.
So instincts.
Right.
So here's the thing: all right. So I was in the Marines, right? And so when you go out on patrol, you have someone up point. You have different people back, right? You have people on flank,
right?
You got the whole thing, right? And that's how our whole that's what we've done since the beginning of time from caveman, right? We've learned how to protect ourselves, right?
Your team.
And the whole thing, right? So you have a lot of that, and the people that you wanted on point were the people that didn't focus on things too long. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you wanted that HDA, that person
right
there. That's
a
person
trait
that's
that is ingrained primitively.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. have you've seen a bird's head or mammals, how their heads are always kind of moving?
Well, they're on swivel. Yeah, they're on swivel.
Right,
on swivel. Yeah.
Right. That's what you want. Right.
Yeah.
That's what you want as you're doing this. So as we've gone and it's gotten easier and softer, the reaction, the head movement has gotten less, but it hasn't disappeared.
Right.
But those are the people in our society when we needed that. Those are the people you want on the front.
Honestly, those are the people that you still need. You still need those people.
Right.
You
do.
Well, yeah. But we all switch through our different jobs, through society.
Yeah.
And theirs was something else early on, and maybe not as much now.
It's
but
harder to conform.
We're giving them shit about it.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
We're giving them shit about it, but it's something that they're like, hey, I'm always looking around. I'm always trying to see what's going on. And that's where I think we've gotten past our instincts. So we have to listen to our instincts, because society has asphalted over them.
Well, and I agree. I mean, I used to when I taught, they would give me all the ADHD kids because honestly, they learned differently and they were usually brilliant because of that. So because they couldn't learn traditionally, they learned out of the box with creativity. And I love that kind of kid that was able to think out of the box.
Have you ever met?
Cool.
When you meet a person, they don't have one of those acronyms next to them, and they're dull as hell.
Like, okay, that's going to be the minority pretty soon. Like, literally,
exactly. No, that's what I mean. I think like evolutionarily, I think our brains and minds have developed a certain way.
I mean, why do you got to tag everybody? Why do you got to? Autism was just the nerd with the tape in his glasses.
Right. It's not that people have changed. It's not that there's more ridiculous. Of it. It's just that we recognize it more, and we try to help those people with their blind spots. That's
you know what? Just throw them all in together and treat them the same, and they'll be okay.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll be honest with you. The kids,
no, not that.
I'll be honest with you. The kids today, as much as we give them crap, have been much more accepting of special needs and all that. Because I remember back in my day, it was not that way. Nope. And it was different rooms.
Yep.
It was different things. Now it's more acceptable. It's a whole thing. So I think our kids have done something I haven't done.
But literally, I was in enrichment or gifted, whatever. They would put us in a dark room with no windows, and there was maybe 4 kids in there, and they weren't your friends. Like I said, no thanks. I just want to be. I want to be treated like normal with my peers. I didn't want specialized treatment, even for being something that they thought was better than normal. I didn't want that crap.
Remember if you're considered like gifted, and I remember at my school we'd be shipped off into one of those vans, on the side of the parking lot, just because
Tiny home for you.
Dude,
Tiny home for you.
I was in the RV. For reading.
We were all in some RV.
Yes.
You weren't even allowed.
I was in the RV.
Yeah.
You weren't even allowed.
They weren't even allowed on the school premise.
You weren't even allowed in a room.
Tucked away down the parking lot
because the government mandated that those.
They're like, we don't know. We think they're smart, but we don't really know.
That's the epitome of being ostracized. Right. Holy shit!
They're smarter than the teacher, so we don't know how to teach them. But whatever. So we just need them to leave for an hour.
I mean, you can be special needs. You can be dyslexic. You can be gifted. Get the hell out of here.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was anyone who was different, smarter, crazier, learning disability, whatever.
Creative.
Yeah, more creative.
That's
creative.
They would say, ship them off for an hour or two into that other place, and then we'll bring them back later for math class.
It has to be on wheels because we got to get them out of here quick.
What was that?
Hurry up and hitch that to the back of a semi. Hurry up, get them out of here.
The schools were like, we don't even know if we like the vans, but we're going to let them park over down yonder, and we'll send our kids over to that van.
I had to stand at attention in front of nuns and priests, and they determined where I went.
Oh yeah, John, that's the way it was for us. Gen Xers.
So you were private school, because that's where my van was too. It was a private school. That was more. Oh yeah,
right in the RV. I remember sitting right in that fucking RV, and it was just sitting there doing all that shit, and I'm like, why am I here? I must be a dumbass.
You know, honestly, John, that's where
be a dumbass.
That's why tiny homes are so popular right now, because honestly, we feel comfortable there.
I remember when I was a kid, I went to speech because
I don't feel comfortable.
No.
Did you just hear me tell you?
He said he hated it. What are you talking about? He doesn't want to go back to that.
I had
tuck him back in the corner of the property.
Look at me and go, you're going to fail your spelling test like usual, aren't you? And I was like, well, that's a vote of confidence.
Right.
Oh, God. What we're going to
give you some easy words this week.
And they talk about Gen Xers like chewing lead on their cribs and drinking out of water hoses. You know what? The real problem.
You're like, those were good people. It was good to chew on lead and eat asbestos.
What really was damaging was being ostracized from the rest of the kids in the school.
It was an experiment. They tried that for the 70s and 80s and the 90s a little bit, and they decided that in the 2000s we're not going to send them to those vans anymore.
I guess we'll just put them in the basement. Yeah. I mean, at least they could be on property now.
Well, in the old, like in the 50s and 60s and stuff, they would just sink or swim in the class.
They would be put in institutions back in those days.
Well, people like you, me, and John wouldn't have been institutionalized.
But they would have been.
Oh, I would challenge that.
Maybe we would. I don't know.
You haven't filled them in on the family, have
you? No, you're right. I was hoping we could avoid that at all costs.
Well.
Hey, how about that
Buckeye? We don't have enough time for that.
I mean, you can't.
We'll bring you on the week. We'll bring you on the third week of October. Well, we're trying to tap Columbus is one of the fastest growing cities in the country, so we're trying to tap that. So share with all your friends and family down there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome because Nick has family there too. So. Alrighty, John. Well, thank you for calling in as usual. It was awesome. So,
all right, thanks, John.
Sounds good. All right, my man. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. It's a lot of fun. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, good. We'll talk soon.
See ya. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, John was on the show with us again here, and a good way to end the episode. It was always. You never know where you're going to go with John.
Yeah, it depends on his mood.
Conversation.
Yeah, it's good stuff. From
naming his dog of the three of us,
right?
I think it clicks and stuff like that.
From naming his dog to really, I love how we spun off education discussion. We talked about discussion that centered around education, and that was a good spin-off of what we had earlier. So,
it was.
Yeah, and he had to struggle. He was dyslexic. He had that kind of issue. He's now running his own company. He's an entrepreneur. He's a Marine, and he has 3 kids. He's doing well. So
it's the world's not kind to folks that don't conform, and it's but we're finding ways, all of us, so I think it's important, obviously, if you're watching and you're still here on the third hour of the show, just
it's our third hour. It's not going to be 3 hours for them. I mean, but the thing is education.
Can you believe Joe Rogan literally sits every day and just talks for like 3.5 hours?
I don't know how he does it
every day.
But I mean,
and they just talk.
I see how fun it is, though. The thing is like, okay, so
if I could just sit here and talk for 3 hours,
what I will say, let's do a recap. Okay, this episode is mostly about education, and I want to say that education has improved. There's still a long way to go. But it has improved. I think so. Very cool. It's very cool. So
it is. So thanks for joining us on Educational Week. And
the beginning of the school year, everybody.
The beginning of the school year. Hopefully everyone has a great school year. If you haven't started yet, or your kids haven't started yet, or you're a teacher or whatever, administrator, make sure that you have a good, and save some time for yourself. Make sure that give yourself time to unwind and keep that inner peace. So if you need to maybe go grab a hypnosis session with Julie Abel, or so. I was going to try to make a joke too.
This episode is brought to you. Do your radio.
This episode is brought to you by Nick Cashone, a Select Mortgage.
What? You
thought I was going to say?
Talk about the rug being pulled out.
Thanks for joining us in the vault. We'll see you next week.
Wait a minute.
Ascend Hypnotherapy with Julie Abel. Give her a call. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, that's hilarious. You got me. That's good shit.